There can be little doubt that Teofilo Cubillas is quite rightly regarded as Peru's greatest ever footballer. Their all-time leading goal scorer, Cubillas is one of only 2 players to score 5 goals in 2 separate FIFA World Cups. Over the years, he's received countless individual accolades and was at the heart of his national team's most successful period. We recently caught up with a man they call El Nene, the kid, in South Florida, where he's made his home ever since he came to play in the North American Soccer League in the late 70s. Cubillas is long retired from playing, of course, but he still remains very active within the game.
Once I stopped playing football, I decided to dedicate myself to teaching football to children. I started when my sons were old enough to start playing, so I suppose they were my first pupils, together with some of their friends. I had a great time and really enjoyed it. So in the summer months, I dedicated myself to teaching kids football. But with the passage of time and with all the other things I have going on, it's my sons who are now in charge. They dedicate themselves to doing just what I used to do. I'm also part of the FIFA study group, and I'm a FIFA instructor. On those occasions, I represent the president of FIFA, that's to say, Mr. Blatter, in community-based courses being done all over Central America. I've been to many islands and countries in Central America representing FIFA on various projects. And I'm also part of the Special Olympics. I've just returned from Paraguay, the host country for the first Special Olympics Copa America tournament for South America.
Cubillas first came to the world's attention at the FIFA World Cup in Mexico in 1970. Aged just 21, he was already a linchpin of his national side, and it was the young attacker who capped a comeback victory in Peru's first match against Bulgaria.
Peru had never qualified for a World Cup before, so we spent 2 years preparing ourselves. And we had a coach with great knowledge who was used to going to World Cups. He was the Brazilian Waldir Pereira, Didi, and he was able to build a really good squad. I scored our 3rd goal, the winner, and to tell you the truth, the celebration was immense. That victory gave Peru its happiness back, because just 2 days before that match, there was an enormous earthquake in Peru. It was near Lima, and 50,000 people had died, so there was a lot of sadness. But it goes to show how life is, as one football match was enough to give the suffering people something to be happy about. I think we felt honoured that we were the ones who brought a bit of joy to the Peruvian people.
In the following group games, Cubillas was again at the heart of Peru's attacking intentions. He scored twice in a win over Morocco before adding his 4th of the tournament in a loss to the West Germans. Peru were through to the quarter-finals, so the journey came to an end against eventual champions Brazil. Cubillas managed to score his 5th goal in 4 games. And of course, there's no shame in losing to a side regarded by many as the greatest national team ever to grace the sport.
We lost to Brazil by 4 goals to 2. I scored a goal again, but at the time Brazil had players like Pelé, Rivellino, Jairzinho, Clodoaldo, Tostão and Carlos Alberto. It was a constellation of stars, and of course they won that World Cup. I was happy to have played in my first World Cup and to have scored 5 goals against some top teams. So to finish the tournament having scored that many was beautiful.
Though Pelé labelled Cubillas his successor following the tournament, the next few years provided some big ups and downs. Peru failed to qualify for West Germany in '74, but the very next year they managed to win the Copa America, only the 2nd time they'd been crowned champions of South America.
The best thing was that we beat Brazil in Brazil. We beat them 3-1 in a match played in Belo Horizonte, and that was key to us achieving our full potential, because after that we played the final against Colombia. It was a match that was played in Caracas, in Venezuela, and we won the game by 1-0.
8 years after bursting onto the global scene, Cubillas and Peru were back at the FIFA World Cup in Argentina. In their very first game against Scotland in Cordoba, the now 29-year-old number 10 scored one of the tournament's most iconic free kicks.
I was totally convinced, once I saw the wall, the keeper and where the ball had been placed, that the ball was going to have to go in an unusual direction. Everybody takes free kicks in their own way, and I thought to myself that if I could curl the ball with the outside of my right foot, then the ball would surely go in, and I wasn't mistaken. So that's how I scored the third goal, the deciding goal. I'd scored a very similar goal earlier. That one was from open play, but I hit it in the same way with a lot of power, and the ball went into exactly the same part of the goal. It was a great goal. It was excellent. And it was thanks to all the time that I'd dedicated to practicing my free kicks.
A hat-trick against Iran took Cubillas' World Cup goal count into double figures. Even today, only 7 players have scored more and sent Peru into the second group phase. However, Brazil, Poland and the hosts Argentina all proved too strong for the Peruvians.
We lost all 3 matches, and we lost them in a very comprehensive way. I suppose the results gave people plenty to talk about, but that's football. I understood it then, and I still understand it now. You really need to be on the pitch to see how these results happen. I see it in this way. Clearly, Argentina were at home in that World Cup, and so they were able to roll us over. But that's life. And in both those World Cups, when we lost, we'd lost to the future world champions.
Peru haven't qualified for a FIFA World Cup since Cubillas hung up his boots following the '82 tournament in Spain. They'll be hoping to rectify that for Brazil 2014, of course. But in the meantime, Peruvian fans can content themselves with memories of the exploits of Teofilo Cubillas, one of the true legends of World Cup history.